We are standing in the driveway of Rehoboth Farm. That's out in West Suffolk. It's a regenerative farm. So that means that they actually make the land better than it was before. Oh, he's a boy. He's a boy. They have curly hair on top. I want to know that you were well cared for, you were healthy. I could touch the cow. Oh, look at that. He's sheepish. Tell me your passion behind this.
I'm really passionate about food, actually. And when I start looking at where my food comes from, I want the highest quality, that the animal was healthy, the environment the animal lived in. And so that's really what drove us to make sure that we're doing this to the highest quality. So doing regenerative, moving these animals across the land.
I can attest they do move their animals because I was here for a chicken move one time and we almost lost a few chickens on my behalf. So I can attest for that. So
they made it through. Good job.
Thank God for Judah, the son who runs. He's the chicken catcher.
The fat of the animal holds the oils that come from the wool. And so that really affects and taints and makes it more of a gamey flavor. Where we have hair sheep, they don't have that same oiliness, that greasiness that would go in and make that taint of the flavor. So we like the hair sheep because they're more of a typical red meat, like I would say closer to beef and venison crossed.
Okay.
So
yeah,
not very gamey, but definitely not beef.
We're talking about American food supply and everything that's going on. Has that been a driving force for you to get your voice out there and to be heard?
Definitely. I feel like God went before us with all of it, and he definitely orchestrated the perfect timing for all this, because we went full-time 5 years ago, and watching the world, how much has changed in the last 5 years, and what we now know about the food system that wasn't really open knowledge. If you're buying a hog from a typical hog house, it has antibiotics in its water system, it's raised on concrete, it has no access to the outdoors, and then when you eat our pork and it's got red meat in it, and our pigs have been able to forage in the earth, dig up the roots, eat the mycology, which is like mushrooms, and break down all of the bacteria when a log is breaking down, and break down and get all the grubs and bugs and enzymes out of that. That's a completely different pig.
Yeah.
And you can't buy that at any grocery store. So you have to find the environment it's living in, check in on the environment the animal's living in, and make that investment into that farmer. We experienced what it was like to get off of the food system by growing our own food in our backyard years ago. You just don't know what you don't know. And once you taste the difference and see the healing in your body, it really propels you to go forward so much faster. You're like, oh, I'm committed because I know that my brain's functioning better. I'm not experiencing brain fog. I'm not having joint pain. I'm not experiencing any kind of mental health issue. Like the layers that our body needs and the mineral density of the meat and how those minerals then go into our body and heal it. Yeah, I mean, it's propelled us greatly because everything is injected with everything, and I can't go out and pet that animal. I can't go out meet that farmer if I go to the grocery store these days.
Yeah.
So know your farmer, know where your food comes from, experience healing.
And when you say healing, you guys, this is a veteran-owned farm.
Correct.
So you guys serve a lot of veterans that you know with some of the meats and stuff, with helping them overcome some things that they're overcoming.
We've had a lot of people that have said that they've had cancer and now they only exclusively eat our meat, and they are all their cellular levels are right where they're supposed to be. They've seen healing in their bodies. We've had people with mental health issues, depression, anxiety. They've done the carnivore diet and only eat our meat, and they're like, wow, I've never been healthier.
Wow.
So there is something different, and it's probably what not put into it that is the most vital.
Tell me about the season.
So our chickens are most productive for the first 2 years of their life, but we don't turn them into meat after that. They then get to go live in families' backyards, little homesteads, and they're great for like a production chicken for a family.
I feel like I'm getting ready to get pecked to death.
You're fine. So this girl is a year old, and so she's got a full year left on our farm before she joins somebody's backyard chicken flock.
Nice.
But they lay our eggs for us. They stay with the rest of their flock over there, and we move them behind the cows and sheep usually, and they help spread all the manure so that the grass gets fertilized a little bit more evenly.
How do the chickens stay clean?
All right, well, you see all their feathers. They actually take a dust bath. They're actually kind of covered in a little bit of dust right now. They dig a hole in our pasture. We'll have like these little craters where they'll dig out a little spot, give themselves a dust bath, and that kills any like little microorganisms on their feathers and on their skin and keeps them nice and clean and healthy. So they take dust bath.
And it's actually really shiny. You can't see it in the camera, but it is very shiny for her dust bath. She's cute.
Model chicken.
What's your favorite? The pigs, because you can ride them. Have you tried to ride the cow?
That's that one. But it didn't walk.
He didn't walk her. It was boring. Not like what you just did with the pig. So Jessica, tell me, why did you guys keep the pigs in the woods?
Well, when you start looking at like a wild hog and the natural environment of a wild hog, it wants to be in the brush, the shrubbery, and the woodland. Pigs don't sweat, and most pigs in America, we think of like a pink pig, and they sunburn terribly. The red hogs, which are Durocs, and then we've also got some Herefords, which have a white belly and a white face, and then red on their back. They do really well outside. They have a Berkshire cross, which are all heritage breeds that we like to grow out. If you notice, like this pig has like a thick winter coat on. So they even adapt to like being out here in the outside climate really well and change seasonally. Just like your dog at home would shed its coat, so do the pigs in the spring when it's starting to warm up. Pigs like to root up. They'll find like little mineral deposits, and you'll see like they'll have like a big hole that they dig out and they consume all the minerals. So they can fend for themselves really well. They eat all the acorns this time of year. The pigs love being out here. I mean, even you can see like our chickens are
The feral chicken?
the feral flock back there. They are always cleaning up after the pigs and spreading the manure, and it's a really good symbiotic
How
relationship.
often do you move them?
It goes from anywhere from like a week and a half, and also the number of pigs you have in a paddock makes a big difference. So like this size paddock, they'll probably be here for only a couple more days before we move them to the next paddock. We have 4 paddocks here, 3 paddocks there, 2 or 3 paddocks there. We change it up depending on the numbers. So we built them at Pig House. The first winter, my husband was very concerned. The pigs slept all the time on the outside of the house. They pile up as like a little pile. When they get up in the morning, the soil's warm, and you can see the steam rising from where they had their bed. Like they're cozy. They take care of each other, and they live in like little small herds, which are called sounders. Hey, little pig. So even like right now, you can see like the pigs. This is their pooping area because you can see the flies, and then they have their eating area, and then they have their bed in the back. So they don't, and they do not cross-contaminate. Our chicken is seasonal. It goes April to October, and usually by mid to end of November, I'm sold out of chicken.
Yeah.
So the realization of like eating in season, pigs are what we have all winter. The summertime and the fall is usually when we have our beef. Turkeys are at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Our lamb we do usually around holidays because most people are willing to buy a leg of lamb to roast for a holiday event.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
realizing like your food is seasonal and eating in season and finding someone locally that produces it makes you very intentional. For you today.
Stop.
Okay.
This is the best for soups. This. Or if you're sick. You ever see sick and you need fucking herbs.
The reason why it's so good for when you're sick is because it goes into your gut biome and coats your intestinal lining, which protects your microvilli, your villi and your microvilli, so that you can absorb food correctly. What else can we get you? You want bacon?
I want bacon and I want Italian sausage.
Okay. Our pigs have a low toxin load, so the fat you're intaking a lot less toxins. Your fat is what holds your toxin load. So the pigs are healthy fat. It renders down. You can cook with that with your greens. And you said sausage.
Yeah.
Italian, mild, sweet, or hot?
Let's do hot. I was going to do Italian, but I should do hot.
I love it.
This is the good stuff, guys. They're on Babtown Road, and they have great meat. They have amazing eggs, and they even have chicken stock that I make my soups from. Hey, y'all, come down to Rehoboth Farm. What's up, DC? He's sheepish. That's where they get the word from. I feel like I'm getting ready to get pecked to death.
You're fine.